Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Straight Facts Commentary where I give you my unpopular opinions in everything pop culture. So please stick around and subscribe for more. Hey y'all, I am back again with another video, and in today's video, you see the title, we are going to be speaking about Taylor Swift and her recent album, The Tortured Poets Department. So, if you're interested in Taylor Swift, pop, hip-hop, conspiracy theories, female rap, trending topics, my unpopular opinions, honestly, whatever I feel like talking about, then go on ahead and subscribe, and let's get into this video. Okay, so first things first, let me just get this out of the way. This actually isn't a review. Well, it is a review. Let me stop lying. But it's not a concentrated review. I don't do track by tracks here. And there's so many goddamn tracks on this album. So whoever is doing a track by track review of this album on YouTube or any other platform, like bless you, because that's a lot. But I'm here to just talk about how I feel about the album, like my overall perception of it, a couple of the tracks that I like, and just my general thoughts. So if you're here for that kind of rant style ramble, then listen on. Okay, so I just have a few things that I want to say in general. Like, oh my lord, like when I heard that Taylor Swift was dropping this album in the first place, I was just like, girl, didn't you just drop Midnight? The first thing I could think of was, girl, didn't you just drop an album? It felt like she just dropped an album yesterday when she announced that she was dropping this one. So I wasn't in super anticipation for this album because I feel like we just got an album from Taylor. So I don't know. Maybe, look, Swifties might come for me. I don't care. But I just feel like there's an oversaturation of Taylor. Like, we're getting a lot of Taylor all of the time. Like, I feel like we just got Midnights. I mean, maybe that was technically last year. I don't know, but it just feels like overkill sometimes with her. And I am a fan of Taylor, but it's just like, girl. And then on top of that, on top of we just had an album, I find out that this album is 30 tracks long. And it's like, I love music and I don't have a problem listening to it, but gosh damn, Miss Ma'am. And somebody's gonna try to comment, your attention span is just too short. That's why this album is too long for you. No, this is a long damn album. This is a long album. This is not about attention span. Albums generally are not 30 tracks long. This is like a double album, I think. I think that's what it's called, right? Somebody let me know. It's called a double album or something like that when it's this long. Girl, please. This is a long ass album. Okay, so anyway, let's go ahead and get into some of my thoughts. To start off, I just want to say when she announced the title of the album, I was just like, I didn't like the title. I did not like it. I was just like, the Tortured Poets Department. I don't know. Like, to me, automatically, I felt I don't know. The title just sounded try hard to me. Like, try hard to be poetic and deep and whimsical and introspective instead of just being that, if that makes sense. One of the songs that I wanted to highlight talking about is Fortnite with her and Post Malone. It's giving me lead single vibes because there was a video that dropped alongside the album. Huge video, very big budget video. I do like the vulnerability of this one. She did come out the gate saying that she was a functioning alcoholic. So I was not expecting that. That was pretty brave of her to admit on her, huge platform. This track is not like amazing, but it's supposed to be one of the standouts. But I'm not really necessarily getting the hype around it. I mean, yes, her and Post Malone do sound amazing together. Their voices actually complement each other very well. The chemistry between them in the music video was great. The music video itself was great. Like, I'm not crapping on any of that, but it's not really hitting me like that. It's not really hitting me like that. And a lot of these songs, and especially this one, just sounded like an offshoot of Lana Del Rey. Like, her voice and the way she was coming on a lot of these tracks just felt Lana Del Rey-ish. I mean, I know they're friends, so maybe she could be inspired by her. The Swifties might kill me. I honestly don't care. I really don't care what fan base kills me, but it was giving Lana Del Rey. A lot of these tracks were giving Lana Del Rey. Anyways, another track I wanted to mention that kind of fell flat for me that I didn't really care for was the title track, Tortured Poets Department. I would hope that that would be like a really, captivating one because it's the title track for the entire album. But I didn't really care for that track either. I like the instrumentation of it a little bit towards the end of the track, like the tail end of it. But in general, it kind of fell flat for me. And I'm just like, okay, so I don't like the title of the album. I don't like the title track. I don't like the lead single that much outside of a few harmonies. I'm just like, this is going to be tough to get through. One song I really did like, though, is Down Bad. Down Bad is cool. Where she was like, fuck it, if I can't have him, that was raw. I don't know, there's just something so badass about that song, and vulnerable again, and so I appreciated that. Another one of my favorites is The Black Dog. I really feel like there was a lot of passion and enthusiasm behind the song in her voice, the drums, the bass, the build up. Like, I love songs that kind of build up that anticipation or release, if that makes sense. It drives home the emotion there, and I really appreciated this one. I wish more of the songs on this album sounded like The Black Dog, to be honest, and Down Bad. This album would be kick ass, in my opinion, if more of the songs sounded similar sonically to those two. Also, I really like I'm Gonna Get You Back. It's just, it hits you right in the field. It feels vulnerable and needy and gritty and like desperate, but I love songs that sound like that, and I love songs that feel real. It feels like there was real emotion behind this, if that makes sense. I don't know, a lot of these songs, which I'm gonna get into on my overview, just felt like very lackluster and backgroundy to me. This one feels authentic, and it felt like she was on a mission. Whether it was a toxic mission or not, it felt like she was on a mission, and there was a lot of passion there. Of course, we cannot forget Thank You Amy, which is a song that had blown up because everybody was speculating that it was about Kim Kardashian and their ongoing beef that they've had for several years, which, as far as I knew, that was kind of suppressed, or we hadn't heard much about it, and it was seemingly a little random for her to mention allegedly the Kim Kardashian and Kanye West stuff in her recent song. But, you know, of course, you can talk about whatever happens in your life, whether it's past, present, future. There's really no time frame on it, but it was really interesting. So everybody has been going on about that. The song isn't awful. I think the hype around it is just based on what she's talking about, not really because this song is so amazing, at least not for me. It felt like a lullaby. I know it was supposed to be a triumphant song of success or whatever and overcoming things, but it wasn't amazing for me. I really don't have much to say about this album in terms of like all these songs. Like, I wish I had all of these songs that I could talk about, that I was just like, oh my god, like I love this one and this one and this one and this one, and kind of give a description of each song that I fell in love with. There's so many songs that I didn't like or were just completely forgettable for me. This album, for me personally, was really hard to get through because sonically, majority of the songs sounded exactly the same, and it was almost hard to differentiate between one song to the next because I felt like I listened to the same song 10 times on this album. And it's one thing for an album to be cohesive, and it's another thing for an album to sound almost exactly the same the entire way through, and that is how you bore people straight to death. A lot of these songs for me just sounded like dramatic background music that would be in a rom-com, or a pivotal plot switch up in an emotional ass movie or something, or a soundtrack inside of a library or any place that's quiet, an office building. I don't know. A lot of these songs just feel like background songs or movie soundtrack songs, but not real songs, if that makes sense. Like, just something you can kind of play aimlessly in the background, but you're not really necessarily paying attention to them. And I was one of the people who really crapped on Midnights. Like, when Midnights came out, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is Midnights. Like, I did not I did not care for Midnights like that outside of a few tracks, but this album in comparison to Midnights makes Midnights look like a real superstar. Like, I'll go back and really truly appreciate Midnights now that this album has come out. Like, oh my gosh. And I was kind of like a little bit snoozing at Midnights, but I need to go back and really go through Midnights again, comb through it, and really appreciate the sonics and the diversity. The airy, floaty, vibey essence that Midnights had was just incredible, and I truly slept on it because it wasn't like my preference of Taylor Swift music, and so I slept on it. But in comparison to this album, woo, child, she could have kept, I'm sorry, most of these songs she could have kept, like, for real. But I'm not crapping on Taylor. This just isn't my favorite album of hers. I admire Taylor a lot, her work ethic, her ability to write and tell stories and just evoke feelings. She's really good at that. But man, this album, all in all, was boring the hell out of me. Sonically, it was lackluster. Instrumentation wise, there was good instrumentation here. It felt a lot like Lana Del Rey. Like there was a lot of songs that felt very similar to Lana Del Rey's sound and aesthetic for me. And I was just like, is this a Taylor album or a Taylor slash Lana? Like, I don't know. I was getting a lot of that. And maybe she helped her, maybe she inspired her throughout, but I wasn't really here for that necessarily. The whole album kind of melted together, but not in a good way. Like normally if an album melts together, that's a good thing. Like it means it's like cohesive and it all sounds good together, but in this way, it just all felt like one giant song almost, with the exception of a couple of records. This whole album felt too similar. Each song felt way too similar to the next. So but anyway, this is probably an unpopular opinion because everybody loves Taylor Swift, so I'm probably gonna get dragged, but I don't care. I'm so used to getting dragged for not liking music. It happens all the time. People are always like, "You don't like this album, you suck, you have bad music taste, I hate you, I want your parents to die." Like, that's how people treat me sometimes, but it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pretend to like something just because the internet wants me to. Out of this whole 30-track album, I probably have like 4 tracks that I would keep on rotation. That's crazy. And that's probably like really low. And I'm sure a lot of you have way more takeaways than that, but it's a no from me, guys. Anyway, that's it for this rant ramble. And if you're interested in music and me ranting and rambling about that in general, then subscribe because I do this a lot. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.